The school where I found the Bible in South Africa, Unreached No More in Cambodia, and mission right here in Dallas. All this and much more coming up next. Hello and welcome to Mission 360. I'm Gary Krause. Today's program is coming to you from Dallas, Texas in the United States. And I'm standing in Pioneer Plaza, which commemorates the first settlers that came to establish this city, which has grown and grown and grown. And in combination with its neighboring metropolitan area, Fort Worth, makes up some 7.5 million people.
Each morning at Riverside Seventh-day Adventist School in Cape Town, South Africa, classrooms fill with the sound of children. A daily routine made possible by more than a century of mission work in the region. Minette starts the day with morning worship. Surrounded by classmates, she sings, prays, and prepares for the lessons ahead. For this student, school is more than just a place of learning. It's a space where faith and education come together.
I never knew anything about Jesus or God. I never even knew the Bible existed until I came to Riverside.
This school received the 13th Sabbath offering in 2012, which helped create opportunities for more students to learn about Jesus. Unlike Minette's previous schools, this one provided a unique experience that nurtured both her education and faith.
When I entered the school, I realized that I was in a safe community and that when I read the Bible, it can actually navigate through life.
Since coming to this school, Minette has accepted Jesus into her heart and was baptized. Her story is one of many that reflect the lasting impact of Adventist mission work in the Southern Africa-Indian Ocean region. The roots of the Adventist Church in this region trace back to the late 19th century. The first missionaries arrived in South Africa in 1887, led by Peter Wessels and Asa Robinson. Their dedication led to the establishment of Claremont Union College, later renamed Helderberg College, which became a cornerstone for training church leaders and educators. As the mission expanded, Adventists moved into Zambia and Zimbabwe in the early 1900s. A major milestone was the founding of Salusi Mission in 1894, the first Adventist mission station outside North America. Over time, Salusi Mission developed into Salusi University, enhancing its role in education and ministry. Throughout the region, the church grew through schools, hospitals, and evangelism. Despite challenges, the Seventh-day Adventist Church remained committed to its mission. Through faith, resilience, and service, the church expanded across Southern Africa. Today, this region has more than 4 million members and a strong network of churches, schools, hospitals, and media outreach programs. What began as a handful of missionaries has grown into a thriving movement that continues to impact lives. The Seventh-day Adventist Church remains a beacon of faith and service across the region, but the work is not yet finished. As the church continues to grow, there are still many communities longing for hope, healing, and the message of Christ's soon return. Please pray for the mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in this region. Pray that more people such as Minette will accept Jesus into their hearts. Thank you for your support of mission.
My guest today is Edson Carvalho, who is a businessman here in Dallas. And thank you for taking the time to talk with me. We're actually standing in your car dealership. Yes. You sell cars, but you do much more than that. Tell me about how you use this as a platform for ministry.
Okay, there is a lot of opportunity here. One of the most common situations is when the customer comes and he got the estimate for a car or price, And then he said, I'm going to return on Saturday to close the deal. And I tell them, if you return on Saturday, it's going to be closed because we close on Saturday because I go to church on the Sabbath day. They say, what do you mean? We go to church on Sundays. You say, but I'm going to church on Sabbath according to the Bible. And then we have a chance to open the conversation.
Now, do people sometimes get upset that you talk about religious things in a business setting?
No, this never happens to me. Always they are accepted, and they like to ask questions. And when they don't ask questions, I initiate the conversation about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, on your door it says we're closed Saturdays. Now, for car dealerships, usually Saturday is one of their busiest days, right?
Yes.
So how do you survive financially not being open on Saturday?
This is kind of mystery because God has been blessed since we moved here to this place. Maybe hundreds of dealers went out of business, went down. But God has been blessing. We have customers who buy, they are happy, they come back. And I think it's about the relationship that we establish with people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Connections.
I'm sure. Now, your son is also a businessman who runs a gym, and he follows in his father's footsteps. How does he use that as a platform for mission?
He takes advantage of his leadership as a coach, not only on the martial arts, but also on way to live. And people admire him. And many times when he have events, graduations, he invites me to come and speak to the people. And usually the intriguing question is why this gym is different than all the other gyms in town. And I always tell them that the difference is not my son, but it's God who is in the place. And this is what makes difference. And we should go and be close to God and seek God and try to follow his steps.
Now, we're talking about your business here, but you also open up your home as a mission opportunity. Tell me about what you do there.
What you do every week, every Friday evening, we still on the old fashion, we receive the Sabbath with worship service. All the family comes together, three kids, 7 grandchildren, and always we have some visitors, some families who is visiting. We share meal. We have a little study with the little children, like cradle class, and then I have opportunity to talk to people, and I have the devotional, and we all give hands and pray together. And we have been establishing strong connections with people. And it's very easy, it's an easy step to bring people from your home to the church than to jump this big step.
Well, we know even from the Bible that eating together at the table, you make connections that you wouldn't make otherwise,
Deep
right?
connections, yes. This is we can see this everywhere in the world. Always the table, having a meal together is a good way to start a friendship, relationship.
So tell me about somebody who you have seen come to Jesus and be baptized through your connection.
Probably 3 weeks ago, a guy by name Sebastian Black, he was one of those who attended my house. And from there, he started attending church and took like 3 or 4 years. But 3 weeks ago, he gave his life to Jesus.
And how does that make you feel when you see that happen?
And he approached me. I was hugging him, and he said, "Man, I'm here because of you."
What a blessing.
And this is something special.
Now, you were telling me earlier about a man who was attending Friday evenings at your home, but then he stopped. Tell me about that again.
Yeah, this friend, his name is Josh. He used to come with his wife and attending for a few years. And he was impacted by the Sabbath and how we receive the Sabbath, the sanctity of Sabbath, and the one who gave the Sabbath. And then he stopped coming, and I asked him, why you stopped coming? And he said that I want to reproduce this environment at my home with my family, receiving the Sabbath day. And I cannot be more happy.
That's the best possible result, right?
Yes. So he didn't baptize yet, but he knows about the Sabbath day, and we are studying with him. and I know for sure that he's going to receive the message.
What would you say to somebody viewing this and saying, that's wonderful, but I don't know how to use my business place for mission? What sort of encouragement would you give them?
I would say that God put people in different places. Like sometimes I realize this when I'm here talking to people, and I think I'm here because God put me here. He gave me this place, right? And as long as I will be here, I'm gonna be taking each opportunity to testify for Jesus' Savior. The time is short. We need to take advantage any opportunity to speak about Jesus.
So for someone who's planning to maybe do something similar to what you do on a Friday evening and invite some friends, what are the steps they should take to make it happen?
Not be afraid. Just invite people to come over. Nobody's going to say no to you. Yeah. And if you believe that they are good people to be at the church, they should be good people to be at your home, right? Yeah. At the table and sit with you. And I think this is easy step. Once they get trust in you, it's going to be a small step to go to church.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's a lot easier most of the time to invite someone home for a meal than to come to church.
Yes, yeah. Yes. Uh-huh.
Edson, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Very nice to meet you.
May God continue to bless you and
Thank
your
you
ministry.
so much. Thank you so much.
And viewers at home, perhaps something that Edson has said may have sparked some interest in you, that perhaps you could open up your home, not just for fellowship for your own family, but to invite neighbors, acquaintances, business associates to sample what it's like to open the Sabbath together. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Dallas, and I'm actually standing at a very sobering site where President John F. Kennedy of the United States was gunned down back in 1963, November 22. In fact, this building here directly behind me is where his assassin shot that fatal bullet.
I am here in the United Kingdom talking with Bert Smith, who is the CEO of ADRA UK. Now, if people don't know what ADRA is, and they may not know what UK is, so could you first of all explain that?
Right, welcome to England, Rick. That's probably a better way of saying it. And ADRA is the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, and we are the UK, the England-based part of the charity.
So what does ADRA do? There may be people who aren't familiar with ADRA, so what does ADRA do?
Well, the Seventh-day Adventist Church always strongly believed in helping people. That was initially the local communities, and Dorcas and Adventist Community Services were created to help people in need within the church communities. And at some point in time, governments across the world said, we have pots of money that we have available to help people overseas that are in need. And so the church created a charity called ADRA in order to attract funding from governmental donors to help in development and relief projects overseas.
So the average church member does help you, or they don't help you?
Yes, they help us very much so. They raise funds for us here in the UK, and we use that money to then attract bigger grants from the British government or the European Commission. So yeah, the members are very much helping ADRA.
And some governments will not give unless you have some support coming from other sources.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the church has a very good range of helping people. I mean, the reach of the church is phenomenal, and ADRA is part of that reach. And governments see that, and that's why they like to support ADRA directly.
Now, a lot of ADRA's work has always sort of been seen as somewhere else. Yeah. You're doing that. What countries are you working in, and what are some of the projects that you're doing?
Well, we're working in countries as far removed as Yemen, South Sudan, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Ghana, Chad, and it goes on. And normally we're there for 2 or 3 years, and then we move on to other countries where the aid is needed.
Sure. And even though you're the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, you're not just helping Adventists overseas.
No, absolutely not. You know, we are basically denominational, but non-denominational, which means we help whoever needs the help.
So you talked about some of the places. What types of things does ADRA do then?
We do a lot of water and sanitation, education, basic health. We do agricultural programs. We do climate change adaptation. So a lot of the things that are needed in countries that are starting to develop.
Now, I understand that you're also doing some things here in England or in the UK, which are slightly different.
Yes. ADRA is not operational in the UK, which means we don't have a role to play here. Even in emergencies, we cannot be an actor in emergencies. But we listened very carefully to the church members, you know, in the UK, and they said, look, what is ADRA doing for us? And we said, well, we can't do a lot of things, but one of the things that we can do is actually help you as churches to be relevant to your communities.
I like that a lot.
And a lot of the churches picked up on that, said, wow, yes, can you please help us? And so we then established a role here at ADRA that we are paying for, that is actually helping churches to understand what they could do to reach out to their communities. Because I strongly believe that churches should not just be, you know, little buildings placed somewhere without any connection to the environment they live in. And that's what we really have started to advocate here, that as churches we need to be beacons of hope, but also places where people can come, sometimes for food, sometimes for shelter, sometimes for just, you know, some encouraging words.
Right. And I've heard people say that the church should not be just inside the four walls. So I really like that community focus. And what kind of responses do you get from the communities where churches are becoming active in this way?
I think what you see is that people understand that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is more than just a building. And especially during the lockdown periods, you know, the nearly 2 years of restrictions we have faced, churches have become those beacons of hope where people say, well, actually, I'm struggling, but I can go to that church because they can help me. Not only that, but, you know, you will hear stories later, but people from the community have become active involved in what we call these community hubs that we have organized.
So if you have a local church here in England or in the UK who is interested in doing something like this, what advice would you give? And then what advice would you give to churches outside of this territory?
Well, I would advise go to adra.org.uk, our website, and look for I Am Urban, which is the title of the program that we run here, and you will find the information there. We'll be very happy to come and support with resources, with training, and where possible, even with some funding. For churches that are not part of the British Union, I would urge those churches to go and knock on the doors of their church leadership and say, we need something like what they have in England.
And sometimes, just one person in a church can make a difference if they start doing something in their community.
It's having this sense that we as Seventh-day Adventist Christians need to be relevant to people around us. And once that concept starts to live and become active, I think we haven't seen the end of what we as a church can do.
Right. Bert, thank you very much. It's wonderful to talk with you. It's wonderful to be here. I wish you God's blessing in all that you're doing in ADRA UK.
Thank you very much.
And for those of you who are watching, think about what you can do in your community and what you can do to support ADRA and to support mission work around the world. Thank you very much, and we'll go back to Gary.
Welcome back to the city of Dallas, and I'm standing in the Old City Park, which is the first city park that was established way back in 1876. And they've made it a historical park because they've brought in old buildings from all over the state, some dating back to 1840.
In the early 2000s, Cambodia was a nation healing from the challenges of its recent history. The Khmer Rouge regime had left a legacy of hardship, including poverty, damaged infrastructure, and communities working tirelessly to rebuild their lives and restore hope. Amid this hardship, the Seventh-day Adventist Church recognized the need to bring God's love and hope to Cambodia. Through the Global Mission Pioneer Program, they sent dedicated individuals, ordinary people with extraordinary faith, into remote and often unreached areas to share the message of Jesus. It was during this time, in the year 2000, that a newlywed missionary couple embarked on a life-changing journey in Cambodia as Global Mission Pioneers. Tasked with sharing the gospel in this unreached region, they faced immense challenges. The poor road conditions forced them to travel by boat from Phnom Penh to reach their destinations.
Know the road to connect from Phnom Penh and another province to Grati, because the Cambodia is so difficulty, especially the road, very bumpy and the ugly road in around Cambodia at the time.
Despite the difficulties, their determination to bring light to this unreached area never wavered. Initially, the local community was not welcoming, viewing their presence with suspicion.
So it's very hard to make the good relationship with the people the first time, and especially they don't want to accept the name of Jesus, because they always think that Jesus is the foreign God or foreign religion.
But the pioneers remained steadfast, praying to God for guidance in this unfamiliar place.
We try to pray God and ask the Holy Spirit, and God placed us by the English class in the rent house that our church rent the house, and a lot of children come to study the English class here. And we can make relationship with the children, and after that we continue to relate to visit their home, house to house, and to make the good relationship with their parents.
In 2005, the Cambodian Adventist Mission transformed the missionaries' rented house into a church, symbolizing hope for the community. The school evolved into a foundation for establishing new churches in the region. Today, the once isolated northeastern part of Cambodia is no longer untouched by the gospel. The seeds planted by these young pioneers have grown into a thriving community of believers, proving that with faith, perseverance, and love, even the most challenging missions can bear abundant fruit.
I like when I come to study and I meet with friends and play together. And I also come during the Sabbath, when the pastor invites us to come and join the worship together. And we enjoy the potluck and meal together.
As the work in this country keeps progressing, your prayers are still needed.
Please pray for my ministry. Open heart of the people that we stay around, our neighbor, to hear and to accept and believe in God.
For decades, Global Mission has helped bring the gospel to the world's hardest to reach places. Thank you for your faithful support. Because of you, lives are being changed and hope is spreading.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on today's program, coming to you from Texas. And I hope that, as always, you've been inspired and challenged by what you've seen and heard as we've shown you our 360-degree view of mission around the world. Frontline workers, church planters, those working in centers of influence, those who are sharing literature, involved in health ministry, various aspects of the church's mission, are comforted to know that there is a world church praying for them. It can be sometimes very lonely on the frontiers of mission. But thank you so much for your continuing prayers for global mission and also your donations, which help support work around the world. Well, for Adventist Mission, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope that you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.